probably the most requested item that I've had since starting this deep dive into Taylor Swift and narcissism is to what extent Taylor Swift's narcissism played into what looks like a long history of copying. Taylor Swift copying Lana Del Rey's aesthetic, lyrics, music, and I was kind of intimidated by it as far as coming to a conclusion because it is so complex and covert. That the stealing is kind of covert. It's the kind of thing that a thesis could be written on, but some of it's not covert. One thing that comes to mind is Lana Del Rey's "Without You," Taylor Swift copying it as "Wildest Dreams." That one's pretty clear. So the interesting question is, why does this happen? And what's even more interesting is we've got two different archetypes here. We've got Lana Del Rey as an empath, and we've got Taylor Swift as a narcissist, and then how these two play out. From Lana Del Rey's perspective, it's interesting that she has never sued Taylor Swift, not once, which is probably part of the reason that Taylor Swift gets away with this because she kind of knows Lana's not going to do it, and that doesn't bring it out to the public stage if there is a lawsuit. But this is kind of how empaths are. They resist conflict. I mean, if it's necessary, they'll mix it up. But by and large, they don't because they know that they are a wellspring of creativity. The empaths, their sensitivity, their empathy towards people. This makes them a different kind of person and a different kind of heart, a heart that is a kind of a wellspring of creativity and ideas. Whereas in contrast, the narcissist is very, very different. They don't have that wellspring coming from the heart. They are in a competitive mode. They struggle with creativity. They struggle with having a creative thought. So they're kind of left with getting quote unquote inspiration from others and then using their cleverness, using their heavy competitiveness to make something that's a sellable product. Um, and that's what makes narcissists a lot of times bullies. And I've talked a little bit about bullying Lana Del Rey that Taylor Swift has done. They bully people because they know that they have something that they can't get. Uh, they just get brain locked when they try to be creative. They try to look at someone like Lana Del Rey, they try to emulate it, and they just can't because they're coming from completely different places. So that's how the exchange starts happening of product being lifted because narcissists are not above plagiarizing and lying, whatever it takes to get them on top. So that's a little bit of what's going on here. That's how narcissists work. That's why this exchange happens. That's why Lana has never gotten aggressive and never tried to sue her, even though the copying is all over the place. It's a classic example of two different archetypes exchanging. And I have to wonder, with Lana's one of them, but how many others? Taylor Swift is known for bringing up young artists and to what extent she mines them for their creativity, to what extent Taylor's team that she has on staff, that she mines that, where she gets her creativity, where she gets her ideas. Chances are they're coming from elsewhere, and she's using her cleverness and drive to make it into a sellable product.